Hey everybody, it's a vlog of the day, walk of the day. It's a beautiful day, and I'm thinking about creativity. I'm thinking about the word creativity, and it's something that I wanted to talk about because it's something that I strongly believe in. And one of the things about creativity for me and what I've learned being an artist my whole life is that creativity sparks problem solving, right? Problem solving is something that some people have and some people don't. Some people know how to think outside the box and solve mysteries, solve puzzles, solve codes, and solve life's problems. And all of that takes a certain amount of creativity. Creativity meaning you think outside the box. And because we're not taught to think outside the box, you either have to learn it or you have a natural bent towards it. For me, my grandmother, she taught me that it's not luck, or you're not blessed, or you're not gifted, you're just hard work, So I come from a very pragmatic understanding of creativity because I've been painting since I was 2 years old, and then went into school after school after school, and publishers, and traveled the world, and everything. My entire life has been creative flow, how to stay in a state of creativity. So one of the things that I did when I was a little girl was whenever I got stuck, like writer's block with my poetry, I would do a painting. And then the minute I got like a block with my painting, then I would go into singing. And then the minute that I got blocked with my singing, I'd go into dance, and on and on and on, right? So it taught me how to stay in a state of flow. Staying in a state of flow, for me, comes naturally because I just learned how to navigate my creativity. And problem solving has to do with that, right? Like, if you can't come up with a solution for a problem, well, you go for a walk, right? And then you do something else. So all of these things creates a state of flow, in the sense that you are solving problems, and in many cases you're actually solving other people's problems. When you solve your own problems, other people's problems become solved, right? That's the nature of the creative flow, the creative bent. And so when I go to schools and stuff, I teach them creativity because of this reason, because people that are creative have better problem solving skills. That is a known fact. I mean, throughout history, some of the greatest geniuses have been able to solve problems, humanity's problems, because they were creative. They thought out creatively. So I don't know how to explain something like that as far as how to do it. For me, I just told you how I do it. The minute I have a writer's block, I go on to the next thing. I go to singing. If I have a block with singing, I go to dance. If I have a block with dance, etc. So that's how I do it. And then you create like a river, and that river leads to more insight and more insight and more insights. And I know it can be kind of complicated because, well, it's not just creativity for creativity's sake. You're actually solving problems, world problems, right? So for instance, through this creative flow, you can cure problems of diet. You can cure other people's problems of diet. You can cure, you can fix problems in society, right? For me, going to like inner city schools and working with kids there, or like what I'm doing right now is going into the Apache reservation and just making murals, right? And then what's cool about this is that I'm painting, I painted a painting, right, a cool mural in the Apache reservation that was very dilapidated and very impoverished. And the church was not even a church, it was just a building, standing building. And I went in there, painted the mural, had all the kids in the community come out and paint. And then like 3 months later, I went back to go see my Apache family, and they said, "You have no idea what you've done." Like, and I'm like, "What? Oh no, what happened?" And they said, all of the priests came to hang out at the church that you painted. So, and they got inspired, and then they went back, and then they took pride in their own churches and in their own community. It just brought the entire community up. You know, it's something that art can do, right? So isn't that cool that just one little mural, one participation of community can bring up an entire community, can bring up an entire neighborhood. And that's thinking outside the box, right? That's creative energy. That's creative problem-solving skills, right? So these are little things, but they end up being huge things because it affects the entire community. So now the entire Apache community is affected, and they want me to come in and paint murals on their churches. I mean, if I had the time, I just would go and do churches like around the world. And it's something that I wanted to do, inner city murals, but anyways, it takes a lot of time to do. But I am doing it slowly. So, point being about creativity and being able to solve your problems creatively. We all do it as children. Somewhere along the line we got indoctrinated, and then we got scared, and fear came in, and then what happens with fear, man? It shuts down creativity. Love opens up creativity, fear shuts it down. And I've been shut down before. In some instances, you know, it's a responsibility, so I can experience that kind of fear, but then you get back up and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. Then it goes into a state of flow. And a lot of entrepreneurs are actually very creative, and in general, so are children. But for me, I think it's important to talk about, because I see a lot of people, they get blocked, they get sad, they get heartbroken, they get panic-stricken, they shut down. Shutting down creativity is never a good idea. It isn't. It affects the entire community, affects your body, affects your family. So get your children dancing, singing, acting. Get them into music. Not just sports. It has to be creative. The sports can be creative, but to create children that are Renaissance children, that they grow up to be Renaissance adults, Renaissance people. And it has to start young. That's why I'm working with the kids, because the adults, they're kind of like, they're cooked, you know. So help your children through the arts because it creates creative problem-solving skills, and this will help them through life. It just will. It'll help them survive. It'll help them make money. It'll help them have healthy relationships, right? In order to have healthy relationships, you have to have a state of flow. You have to be able to think outside the box so that you can forgive, and you have to be able to forgive yourself, right? These are all creative solutions. This is creative problem-solving skills. It affects all of life, and everybody else's life too. So, okay, that's the vlog of the day.